Good morning, class. Ajo, and keep on entering. Yes, there are many people in the waiting room right now. I started the class 5 minutes late. तब भी लोग waiting room में ही हैं. Keep on entering. सबको I have allowed everyone to come in. Yes, yes. So right now, what is the strength of the class? So 86 people have joined in. So I'm starting the session right now. Let the other people keep on joining. Okay, let them. Some fundamentals उन्हें नहीं समझ आएगा तो how does it matter? Okay. Acha, now, I'll start with the first of the recap of the last session. So many people, I think, would remember what was in the last CR session. Yes. So we started our class last time with some basic fundamentals. What are the basic fundamentals? बच्चे बताइए. So many bachas and no one speaking. Yes, everyone is allowed to chat right now. And in the last 20 minutes of the class, I will allow everyone to speak. Okay, everyone can speak, have an audio, video. Last 20 minutes of the class. Abhi, please, because there are so many people, so if I will allow everyone to speak, थोड़ा सा confusion हो जाएगा, chaos हो जाएगा. So what I will do in these classes, 40 minutes of class will be in the chatting mode, and after that I will have an audio and video interaction with as many people as you want. Okay. सब बोल सकते हैं, कुछ भी बोल सकते हैं. Okay, any questions in the CR, even any other RCs or any verbal, even the LRDI, even the quant, you are allowed to speak. Okay, any doubts, anything you have, you can talk about it. So first of all is the recap. Okay, recap बहुत important. What are the fundamentals we talked about? The first fundamental we talked about, बहुत important है वो fundamental, was that हम ये ध्यान रखेंगे in the whole class that I will be using both the English and the Hindi language. Okay, so that I'll be you will be missing nothing. I'll speak in English. I'll be use the same thing I'll be speaking in Hindi even. So you would be the language wouldn't be a problem for anyone. Okay. Now the first thing what we learned in the last session was that we will always keep in mind. ये हमेशा ध्यान रखेंगे कि language test नहीं होने वाला है. ओके, ये लैंग्वेज टेस्ट नहीं है, तो हम ये ध्यान रखेंगे. यस, हाँ, वेरी गुड. हम वोकैब नहीं देखेंगे, वोकैब पे ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे. वेरी गुड. एनीथिंग एल्स? या अच्छा, हाँ, यस, वेरी गुड. अच्छा, एवरीवन रिमेंबर्स इट. ओके, सो लेट मी जस्ट मैं भी एक बार आपको रिवाइज कर देता हूँ. ग्रामर भी नहीं करते हैं. We will not concentrate on the grammar. Why this perspective is important? Why I'm starting the class with these perspectives? If you know what is wanting from you, what exactly the test taker actually is expecting from you, you would be having more, I would say, you would be more apt or more, you would have more accuracy in answering. Reason being, you would know that they are not checking your vocabulary or grammar or what the next thing is. They are even not checking your readings. Reading skill भी check नहीं होता है. Reading skill अगर आप fast reader हैं या slow reader हैं, दोनों ही केस में it doesn't matter. The only thing is you should be able to understand the thing in the one reading. If you need a double, triple reading, then you've already lost the plot. So what the main thing is, it is not about the speed of the reading. It is about when you're reading for the first time, you are able to understand it then and there. अगर आप रिग्रेशन करते हैं या आप वापस जाते हैं पैराग्राफ में या पैसेज में in RCs or CR or any other thing, the time thing will kill you actually. So the main important thing is in one reading, I'm able to understand. Fast or slow, it will not matter much. Maybe one person may be able to read it in 60 seconds. The other person may need 70 seconds, but that will not make the much difference. More difference will come if you are reading it twice. Even if you are a fast reader, let's say even taking if in an average level, one passage people are taking, let's say 60 seconds, and you are a fast reader and you're taking 50 seconds, then also if you are going for the second reading, you will need 100 seconds. And in that will defeat you, not the speed or the reading will not defeat you. Okay. So even in the English language, you will not need the literature part. So what is the thing we are looking at? ये पूरा class का essence, the first The most important thing we will keep in this mind is in this class is that the whole test is on the comprehension part. तो comprehension part का मतलब क्या है? Understanding part. यही IQ होता है. तो टेस्ट IQ का हो रहा है, लैंग्वेज का टेस्ट नहीं हो रहा है. तो हम लैंग्वेज की तरफ ध्यान नहीं देंगे. ये पर्सपेक्टिव इंपॉर्टेंट होता है. Otherwise, you will concentrate on the things which the test taker or the test is not asking you to concentrate on. अच्छा, ओके. सो वी विल स्टार्ट. ये हमारा मोटो रहेगा. हमारा पूरी क्लास में यही मोटो रहेगा. यस यस, कॉमन सेंस इज द मोस्ट अनकॉमन थिंग. ये हमारा मोटो है. ओके, इसी को स्लोगन हम, जैसे एक कोई ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्लोगन होता है, हम इसे बोलते रहेंगे, कॉमन सेंस इज द मोस्ट अनकॉमन थिंग. ओके, because the whole thing what I am trying to prove in this class is it is all about a common sense. It is all about the understanding part. तो हम उसी पे ध्यान रखेंगे. ओके, हम ये चीजों पे ध्यान नहीं रखेंगे. अच्छा, what is the second thing we learned? In the last session we even learned कि we will keep our mind in the analytical sense. So what exactly we are going to do is, yes, the second thing I'm just talking about the recap of the last class that we discussed was that the whole focus we will try to have it is in our actions will be analytical. What does it mean? We will try to do when we talk about the English passages or English paragraphs, it is more of what we can call it as a subjective exercise in which there might be many sentences which may have a meaning in the realistic English, but may not have meaning in the logical English. I meant to say, if I am saying, I am taller than all the class, let's say. There are how many people have joined in? 96 people are there. So I am taller than 96 people in the class. If I say I am taller, can you exactly tell how tall I am? So the point what I'm saying is this is the difference between subjective points and the analytical points. Analytical will talk only about the numbers, and the numbers का main quality क्या होता है? वो हमेशा discrete होते हैं. वो हमेशा डिस्क्रीट होते हैं और डिस्टिंक्ट होते हैं. तो उनकी पोजीशनिंग हमेशा यूनिक होती है. हाँ जी बच्चों बताओ. तो व्हाट इज द पॉइंट आई एम मेकिंग? आई एम जस्ट रिपीटिंग द सेम थिंग व्हिच आई डिड इन द लास्ट क्लास. आई एम जस्ट टेकिंग अ रीकैप और सा फाउंडेशन बना दें, सो उसके ऊपर क्लास को बिल्ड कर पाएंगे. हाँ जी, so everyone understands what is the point I'm trying to make here? Yes. So all the people I think are aware of it. Himanshu is saying he was not the part of the last class. So it was, why didn't you see the recording then? Acha, okay. Now, what I mean by the analytical work. Analytical work is जब हम passages को different parts में divide करेंगे. क्या divide करेंगे जी? First thing is the argument. अच्छा, argument से पहले एक point होता है statement. What is the difference between an argument and a statement? Okay. Yes, good, very good. Statements make the argument, but do all statements make an argument? The question I'm asking is, do all statements make an argument? Okay. अच्छा, एक पोल करते हैं. चलिए, I'll create a poll for you. Yes and no. Okay, yes and no. Binary poll है. हाँ जी, अब करिए. Yes, poll has started. Do all statements make an argument? Can you answer it? Okay. How many people? 71 people have said yes. Or around how many people? 28 people have said no. So Buddhu and 28 people. So what exactly is the point here? Statement, when we say there are many statements which will make an argument, but argument ka main definition hai an argument actually tries to prove a point. एक प्रूव करता है पॉइंट को. वो क्या करता है? What the argument actually do is they will use many constructions, just like हम एक जब house build करते हैं, so what exactly we do? We use bricks, we use concrete, we use cement, so many parts. We use windows, doors, and POP, everything to build a house. And in the same thing, in the argument, there are many construction points, or I would say units. So what are that units? That units are assumptions. I think you must be remembering last class में भी मैंने आपको इन सब के बारे में बताया था. Do you recall about the assumptions part? Okay. So assumptions होता है. Statement तो पहले ही बता दिया है मैंने आपको. What is a statement? Statement means any point you're making. Then एक point होता है premises. Everyone recall it? I used to call, what exactly I used to say premises as? Evidence, okay. Witness, okay. Now what the word I was using last class? Fact, yes, good. Okay, so many people are able to answer it. Good. Morning class में इतनी attention, I really love it. Okay. अच्छा, now assumptions हो गया, statement हो गया, premises हो गया, और क्या होता है ये? Inferences. और क्या होता है? Scope. Yes. Okay, yes. और क्या होता है? Conclusion. Very good. Conclusion is the last part. And this is what we are deriving to. So what we are saying is, an argument is so how we'll define the argument? The argument is a set of statements which is trying to derive a point, trying to prove anything, maybe wrong or maybe right, but it is concluding. Okay, so that we call as an argument. तो कितनी तरह के passages CR में आपको देखने को मिलेंगे? दो तरह के passages होंगे. एक passages होगा जो कोई point को prove कर रहा है, और एक passages होंगे जो सिर्फ facts होंगे. तो हम जब CR में हम जाएंगे, अभी हम कुछ passages भी लेंगे examples के रूप में, कुछ तो argument based होंगे. जो argument मैंने जैसे आपको prove किया कि argument means which is the any set of statements which might be a scope, which might be a conclusion, which might be a premise. All these things are trying to prove a point. But एक ऐसे भी CRs में normal होते हैं which are only fact based. This passage कैसे दिखता है? ये passage it will have like इतना literacy rate है, इतना यूपी का है, इतना एमपी का है, इतना बिहार का है, and then they will put questions in front of you and you are expected to answer depending upon the numbers given, more like a DI, a data interpretation kind of a thing. So हम उसे fact based passages बोलते हैं. Now coming to the, I think we in the last class we talked about the types of critical reasoning. Okay, but then also if you want I would तो यहाँ तक clear है? किसी को कोई doubt है यहाँ तक? Why we are calling it an analytical exercise? Because we are dividing the whole passages, subjective passages, into different components, different units, which are taking a role very different. They are taking a very unique role. Premise will act as a premise. Evidence will act, assumptions will take as an assumption. Inference will be inference. So we are dividing these things into different unique points which are doing a unique action. Any questions till now? Yeah. Okay. So Amit, see, we are already in the last class, we discussed about the inference and the conclusion differences. So if you want, what I can do is I can have a kind of a recap I will do. Yes, inference and conclusion are very much related. Even assumptions and inferences are also very much related. How assumptions or inferences are related? Assumptions of inference में in the last class I told you each and every component, I recall it very correctly. This यही इसी batch को लिया था मैंने last time. अच्छा, now I have a question for everyone. The people who are actually considered in the class and who are going to score more than 99 percentile. Inference और assumptions, इसमें क्या सिमिलैरिटी है और क्या डिफरेंस? पहले मुझे सिमिलैरिटीज बताओ, एक सिमिलैरिटी बता दो. Any similarity if you can talk about between the inferences and assumptions. सबसे बड़ी कॉमन फैक्टर है नो. नहीं, आप अभी भी गलत हैं. I do recall I exactly told what is the difference between inference and assumption. I understand it. There is a difference. मैं वो नहीं कह रहा हूँ, difference है. The question is what is the similarity? Yes. अब 100 से लोग ज्यादा लोग हैं क्लास में. Please try to answer this question. No one is now answering it. सिमिलैरिटी है, ये दोनों एक बेसिक प्रिंसिपल पे वर्क करते हैं, विच इज मस्ट बी ट्रू. ये सिमिलैरिटी है assumption और inference में. The common thread between the inference and the assumption is that it is based on the concept of or principle of or essence of must be true. Acha, okay. Now, what is the difference? What is an assumption? Assumption is an unstated premise. Why I am using the word premise? Premise is it is a truth. We will never question the truth in CR. If CR is saying CR में premise word use हो गया, तो what exactly we are talking about is that we are talking about a premise. Premise will always be true. Okay, unstated premise is an assumption. अच्छा, now one more question I have for you. Based upon the last class of mine, उसके basis पे I'll decide whether to repeat it or not. What is the difference between inference and conclusion? What is the difference between inference and a conclusion? Yes. Very good. This is a right statement which I think Anshul has given. Inference हमेशा रीडर का होता है. वेरी गुड. और कंक्लूजन हमेशा ऑथर का होता है. In the case, Mr. Anshul, the question is if the author is a reader, तो inference और conclusion में क्या फर्क है? In a way you said inference is the reader and conclusion author का होता है या writer का होता है. But in case both are the same, then inference and conclusion will also be the same. Acha, now the last time I took one example. Let's say I would like everyone to pitch in that. Let's say one student came late to the class. There are many people who are coming late to the class. They are in the waiting room. I am not going to allow anyone after 10 minutes of the class. So जो भी waiting room में मैं I am not going to allow that. Okay. So the point the question I have is one student came late in the class. I didn't allow that person to enter the class. So what is my assumption? Yes. I'm repeating the question. One student came late to the class and I'm not allowing that person to enter the class. So what is my assumption here? And what is my inference? Yes, good. Yes, you are. I think most of the people are able to answer it. Okay. So the inference is I'm not allowing that person to enter the class. What is the assumption? Okay. Okay. No. I think this concept still people are not clear with that. Assumption. The point is inference बेस पे हम एक assumption बनाते हैं. अभी क्या हुआ है कि एक बच्चा लेट आता है क्लास में. आई एम नॉट अलाउइंग दैट पर्सन टू एंटर द क्लास. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई एम डूइंग इज आई एम टेकिंग आई एम द inference I am taking is that person shouldn't be allowed in the class. That's my conclusion because I am the reader and I am the author. So obviously in this case, what exactly I am doing is I am not allowing the person to enter the class. So this is the inference I have done, that I have concluded that that person shouldn't be allowed. So what's the assumption here? The assumption is assumption can be, there can be many assumptions. The first assumption can be that he is not studious enough. I shouldn't allow that person in the class. That's my assumption. The second assumption can even be that that person will disturb the class right now. So I shouldn't allow that person to enter the class. Number three assumptions can be that I am actually concluded the fundamental points, and right now, if I allow that person, he wouldn't be able to understand anything in the class. So what I will presume, or I am assuming, is that that person will not understand anything in the class. So there is no point. So I'm inferring that that person shouldn't be allowed in the class. So everyone is able to understand what is the difference between assumption and then. So last time I even gave an example which I think many of the people would be able to थोड़ा सा रिलेट भी कर लेंगे. हम एक फुटपाथ पे जा रहे हैं. वी आर जस्ट मूविंग थ्रू द स्ट्रीट एंड व्हाट वी सी इन द गटर, one person is actually lying in the gutter. So what exactly, and let's say uh, yes, yes, I gave this example last time even. So let's say one person is lying in the gutter and you are passing through the street, and let's say one person decides to help the person who is lying in the gutter and one person doesn't. So what is there is a clear understanding that they have inferred differently. One person has inferred to help, one person is inferred not to help. So what is the difference in the assumptions here? हाँ, एक ही केस में one person helped and one person didn't. तो assumptions में क्या difference है? Okay, good. So I think everyone recalls it. Yes. If I'm saying that one person is not, the people who are not helping the class are assuming that anyone lying in the gutter doesn't need help. Okay. And the second situation is if you're helping, if you're inferring that you should be helping it. So the assumption is that any person who is lying in the gutter needs help, deserves help, whatever you may say. But the thing is, you helped. I think अभी तक clear है सबको जो हो रहा है. Any person, any question still now? Okay. Okay. So moving forward, I think this is I have already covered in the last class. The types of critical reasoning. So do you want me to still carry you the same thing? थोड़ा सा मैं आपको एक summarization of the synopsis of each and everything. So I think every word, if you look at the first is the statement and the argument. So ये topic, the headlines is telling you. So there will be many statements in the thing, and what we are going to do is we are going to choose the right argument. तो ये statements होगा और question stem में arguments होगा. Obviously, I think everyone recall the structure and all. CR का structure क्या होता है? बताइए CR का what is the structure? हर CR में structure wise में सबसे पहले एक stimulus होता है. फिर एक क्वेश्चन स्टेम होता है. फिर आंसर्स होते हैं, इसलिए 5 ही होते हैं, और इसमें हमेशा 2-3 स्प्लिट होता है, लेकिन फिर भी मैनी ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस में नहीं भी होता, मोस्टली होता है। तो ये बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर है। तो हमने बात करी अभी, किसकी बात कर रहे थे हम? टाइप्स ऑफ सीआर। किस तरह सीआर आपको देखने को मिलेंगे? सबसे पहला दिखेगा स्टेटमेंट आर्गुमेंट। तो आर्गुमेंट में हम क्या करेंगे? व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू? यस, आर्गुमेंट सही निकालेंगे। सेकंड टाइप आर द स्टेटमेंट्स एंड द assumptions. सो ऑब्वियसली हेडलाइंस ही बता रहा है, स्टेटमेंट्स होगा, एंड वी हैव टू पिक द राइट assumptions आउट ऑफ द आंसर्स. Now the third thing is, we will see the third type is a statements and a conclusion. So who will tell what is a statement and a conclusion? Obviously there will be set of statements which should be written, and we have to choose the right conclusion out of it. तो पहले टाइप में क्या होगा कि आर्गुमेंट सही निकालना है, सेकंड में we will be choosing the right assumption, and the third type would be the choosing the right conclusion. Okay. And the fourth would be statement and the course of the action. There will be set of statements and they will be asking what kind of a course of the action would be correct to take. तो वो नॉर्मली आपको बहुत दिखेगा। एक कोज एंड इफेक्ट होगा, दो इवेंट्स एक के बाद एक अकर कर रहे होंगे, एंड यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड द रिलेशन बिटवीन द कोज एंड इफेक्ट काइंड ऑफ रिलेशन। ये बहुत ट्रिकी होता है, एंड most of the tricky questions usually are the cause and the effect questions. Okay, so these are the types of the CR. So what are the types of CR we can see? The first is the argument, second is the assumption, third is the conclusion, fourth is the course of action, and the fifth is the cause and effect. Any questions till now? Okay, good. Okay, okay. Now, what are the steps we are going to take in the session? Whenever we are going to talk about the any CR part, what was the main thing? So I've already told you about the stimulus and the question stem. This is the last class even I have taken. I'm just repeating it. Okay. Understanding and detailing, मैंने आपको पहले ही बता दिया. Every passage would be argument or factual. यही दो टाइप्स के आपको दिखेंगे. Now different parts. I've already told you that you have to do an analytical work, and you have to divide the passage into different components. और आप अगर साइंस स्टूडेंट हैं तो I will call it units. I think units everyone understands. What is the unit? The basic component. Very good. Yes, what is the unit? Science student, actually unit ka you can easily understand from the answers that these students are from science or commerce or arts. The words they select. As if science student will select a very different kind of definition based answers, and arts student will use a very realistic based answers. What exactly is the difference here? I'll see. Here में, let me, this is interesting. Here में, whenever we would do handling CR, there will be two worlds. Okay, दो तरह की दुनिया दिखेगी. Two worlds you will say. The one thing is a logical world, and the one thing will be the realistic world. In the logical world, we usually do inductive reasoning. And the realistic world, we usually ये inductive even एक और एस्पेक्ट होता है, उसे बोलते हैं deductive reasoning. Now, what is the difference between these two words? The point what I'm trying to say is, inductive reasoning और deductive reasoning logical world में सही होता है, लेकिन realistic में नहीं होता है. So in this exercise, or usually in education or CR or IQ based testing, it is more talking about the logical world. Okay, realistic world की बात नहीं हो रही है. Realistically में वो गलत हो सकता है, but in the logical world, or we all will always keep the thing that right now we are not living in the realistic world. I'm just trying to let me make you understand. Actually, still I don't think you would be able to understand it. Logical world कैसे move करता है? I'm repeating it actually. Let me rephrase the whole thing. IQ test में it is a logical world we are in. Most of the people who would be not be having a difficulty with the logical world is in the realistic world, one thing can be wrong. In the logical world, it will stand as a true statement. I'll give an example to you. Let's say there is a basket of which fruit do you like? Let's say coconut. Why I said coconut was it was easy to draw. अगर मैंगो ड्रॉ करना होता तो मुझे तो हो ही गया. ओके, अच्छा नाउ कोकोनट है मान लेते हैं. लेट्स से वी आर आस्किंग वन द स्टूडेंट टू. एक बच्चे को मैंने बोला कि ये चैटिंग में क्या चल रहा है. एक बच्चे को मैंने बोला कि लेट्स पिक वन कोकोनट. ये वाला कोकोनट को हमने पिक किया. दिस कोकोनट वाज वेरी गुड. लेट्स से आई पिक वन मोर कोकोनट. दिस इज आल्सो वेरी गुड. Then there can be now a statement which I'll put. Two coconuts which I have picked are good. So what is this statement called? Specific statement. I'm talking about the specific, एक specific point के बारे में मैं बात कर रहा हूँ. In the other situation, one more statement I'm putting. As the two coconuts are good, I'll assume, or I will say that because two coconuts are good, that's why the whole basket is good. What I've done is, अब मैंने generalize कर दिया. अब what exactly I have done is, मैंने एक specific statement को generalize कर दिया. एक specific statement को मैंने generalize कर दिया. This is called logical world. ये logical world में two statement है. And इसको कहते हैं inductive reasoning. Most of the people who have a difficulty in understanding critical reasoning is due to the difference in which they feel the difference in the real world, the realistic world, and the logical world. मैं इसी में I'll just give an example to you. ये एक reasoning कहते हैं inductive reasoning. Inductive reasoning वो reasoning होता है, या inductive reasoning that reasoning in which we use a specific event and we use it to make a generalized statement true. एक specific चीज को हमने टेस्ट किया और हमने उसे generalize कर दिया. I'll give one more example. I have two friends and they are from let's say Bihar, and they both are very good in maths. I have only two friends who are from Bihar and they are very good in maths. So a specific statement is the two people from Bihar are very good in maths. But when I generalize this specific statement into generalized statement, what I will say is all the people from Bihar are good in maths. So what I'm doing is I'm using a specific a situation or an event and I'm generalizing it for the whole thing. This is called inductive reasoning, and this is true in the लॉजिकल वर्ल्ड, जैसे कमिंग बैक टू द कोकोनट थिंग, मैंने आपको बोला कि आई कैन से यूजिंग बिकॉज द टू कोकोनट्स वर गुड, so I will assume the whole basket to be good. But in realistic world ये wrong हो सकता है कि नहीं हो सकता? In the realistic world it can be a wrong statement. One same event, same thing happening in the logical world is true, but in realistic world is false. It can happen कि ये कोकोनट खराब है, ये कोकोनट खराब है, ये कोकोनट खराब है, लेकिन लॉजिकल वर्ल्ड में हम कहते हैं ऐसा नहीं है. हम जब मैथ्स में प्रोबेबिलिटी, परम्यूटेशंस, कोई अरेंजमेंट्स, एलआर में हम जब यूज करते हैं तो वी आर यूजिंग इंडक्टिव रीजनिंग और लॉजिकल रीजनिंग, बट नॉट द रियलिस्टिक रीजनिंग. आई विल गिव एन एग्जांपल टू यू. हम कहेंगे 2 में से 10 लोग फेल हो गए, 2 people out of 10 have failed. So what is the probability of the whole class doing that? What are we using is, we're using a specific example and putting into the whole population example. In this case, what exactly we are doing is, we are using a specific inductive reasoning, or logically, this is a correct, true statement. This is the best way to do it. But in realistic, it can be wrong. It can be like the 10 people have picked. You have picked a sample of 10 people, in which 2 people did very well. तो ऐसा हो सकता है कि जो 90 लोग, मान लेते हैं उसमें 100 लोग क्लास में हैं, तो 90 people all might be failures or all might be toppers. So realistic, it is wrong. The second type of a reasoning is deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning में क्या होता है? डिडक्टिव रीजनिंग में क्या है कि एक जनरलाइज स्टेटमेंट को हम स्पेसिफिक ट्यूब में बना देते हैं. I'll give an example of the same Bihar and maths thing. I'll say the generalized statement or the true statement is, all the Bihar people are good in maths. So let's say I meet a person and who is from Bihar, and what I will say straight away is, because all people are from Bihar are good in maths, so this person will also be good in maths. So in a way, what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to say is this kind of a reasoning. So what is the difference between inductive and deductive? In deductive में specific change into generalized, and in the deductive reasoning, the generalized change into specific. अब once more I'm repeating it, ये लॉजिकल वर्ल्ड में ट्रू है स्टेटमेंट, रियलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड में कैन बी फॉल्स. अच्छा, ये सब बच्चों को समझ आया कि नहीं आया? समझ आ गया? सबको समझ आ गया? Should I ask for do you want to give any example for the specific and deductive reasoning? अच्छा चलो, before moving into it, I have already, I think, ये premises के बारे में बात कर लिया है पहले, but then also if you want, I can repeat it. So when we talk about the premise part, premise is defined as a fact, proposition, statement for which conclusion is made. Already told you, simple and straight. इतना जाने से simple जरूरत नहीं है. Simple thing you will always remember: a premise is a fact or an evidence. बस हम ये याद रखेंगे. फिर भी I'll just read it for you. Proof बस, अब हम proof अगर ढूंढ रहे हैं तो we will call it premises. The premises gives the reason why anything should be believed, means the same thing, evidence and fact. Premises indicators. I've seen many of the teachers talking about these indicators. I've already included it. But main thing, why I usually am not thumping on it or I'm not repeating it. Reason being, you may have these kind of words, but then also the context might be different. So in intelligence, in IQ test में context important होता है. So indicators, you can, if you have a very, I would say, weak mind, then you may say these words actually indicate premises. But I don't actually want my students to actually assume it, or I would say believe it. Always look at the context. कॉन्टेक्स्ट में एक वर्ड का मीनिंग चेंज हो सकता है. तो indicators you can, if anyone wants to note it, you can, but I don't want you to focus. I've seen many of the teachers doing it, so I have included in the PPT. If anyone thinks that it's helpful, then है तो आप ले लीजिए. Conclusion मतलब the end point. क्या रीच कर रहा है वो end? क्या they are trying to, what point they are reaching? Okay. A conclusion is a point the author tries to prove. Same thing. Conclusion indicate examples. Once more, I'm asking you to consider it on the context part. अच्छा, conclusion हमें ये बहुत many of the students I've seen doing this thing. The conclusion can be anywhere in the statement. एक अगर स्टिमुलस है तो कंक्लूजन कहीं भी हो सकता है. यू मे थिंक कि वो हमेशा एंड में होता है, जरूरी नहीं. इट कैन इवन, यू कैन इवन हैव ए पैसेज व्हिच मे स्टार्ट फ्रॉम ए कंक्लूजन. ओके. The premises are sacrosanct, but conclusion can be strong or weak. I've even written an example. The class at 7 a.m. This is a class at 6 a.m. The class at 7 has more students than class at 9. So I should attend the class at 7. This is what kind of conclusion is this? This is, we can call it as a weak conclusion. So this is a weak conclusion we are taking on the basis of the premises we have. What are the premises? The class at 7 has more students. This is a premise, and this is actually the conclusion. Any questions till now? Okay. Any questions till now? Okay, everyone is clear. Okay. Now we are talking about the inference and the assumption. I've already taken it. Inference is common English में word होता है imply, जो गलत भी हो सकता है. हम usually जब common English में word use करते हैं inference, it can be true or false. लेकिन हम लॉजिकल वर्ल्ड में इन्फ्लुएंस है ऑलवेज करेक्ट. तो मैं दोबारा रिपीट कर रहा हूँ, दो तरह के वर्ल्ड है, लॉजिक और रियलिस्टिक. हम इस वर्ल्ड में नहीं हैं. ओके. So the world we are belonging to right now is the logical world we are talking about. Okay. So we'll try to keep. हम इसमें आपको ये वर्ल्ड में ये मतलब लॉजिकल नहीं दिखेगा और इसमें ये नहीं दिखेगा. अच्छा, now I've already told unstated premise is an assumption. Inference assumption must be two aspect in both. So one of the very important difference between assumptions and arguments and inferences are, assumptions हम होता है जब एक हम argument में reach कर रहे होते हैं. When in the argument we are trying to reach a point, assumptions are made at that time, and inferences are usually made when we have already completed our I would say the reach or completed our task or an action. So inference is after the arguments are made. Now this is the main thing between inference and conclusion. Inference एक educated guess होता है, लेकिन conclusion is more about the logically deriving the next step. Similarity दोनों में यही है, main difference यही है कि inference हमेशा reader का होता है और conclusion हमेशा author का होता है. Let's say we are looking at a CR, एक stimulus देख रहे हैं, so you will have one conclusion, but you can have n number of inferences, because if a reader is changing, the inference is also changing with it. Okay. I've already talked about the inference and assumptions. Then also, if you want me to repeat it, inferences can be logically deduced from any other given information, and it can be different for different authors even. Okay. Inference is a conclusion, assumption is a belief. Now we are going to talk about some of the fallacies. Why we are going to talk about the fallacies in reasoning? Why we are talking about errors in reasoning? ये सारा CRE errors का ही है. अगर ये errors हमें पता ही नहीं होंगे, तो we would never be able to solve a CR part. So, from the time the class is getting over, I'll just try to. Okay, now these are the fallacies. और fallacies मतलब error, मतलब इसका है जो गलतियां हैं reasoning में. और these are very important things, और ये normally हम अपनी जिंदगी में देखते हैं, politicians बहुत use करते हैं. When I think the fallacies in reasoning, if you are able to catch very well, then you would see most of the politicians actually talk in the fallacies in reasoning, and they are expert into it. Most of the people are not able to understand how the main issue has actually changed into a very trivial or very deep issue. Okay. So first of all, is the first fallacy we are going to talk about is the non-sequitur. Sequitur. So in this kind of a fallacy, what exactly we do is we try to have two different events and we try to relate these events without any concrete proof. I have already written an example, which I think you would be able to understand here. I bought an expensive car and that's why it is best. So what we usually do in a normal life, whenever we are buying, let's say if I'm buying a fruit and I buy an expensive fruit, I will assume that it's very good in quality or taste. So what exactly I'm doing is I'm using a error in the reasoning, a fallacy, which is called non-sequitur. What it means is I'm actually two different events and two different reasons. I'm actually relating it without any concrete proof. Can you give more examples in that? Hanji bachcho, any examples you can give? Good. Very good. Yes. If you if you're paying more for the tuitions and all, so you will assume the teacher is good. Who gave this example? मैं तेरा नाम याद रखूंगा अभी. ठीक है. Okay. Good. Very good. Yes. You were giving the same example. ना? ये तो car वाला example तो already given. Any other example you can give where we are relating to things and given a reasoning error and they are not even related to each other. Okay, expensive doesn't means good, but we assume it. So we are relating it. The second kind of fallacy we usually call it emotional argument. Emotional argument में argument ऐसे दिया जाता है जैसे कि हमारे बहुत सारे पॉलिटिशियंस देते हैं कि क्योंकि मैं आप ही की कम्युनिटी का हूं इस वजह से मुझे वोट करिए, या मैं आपके ही रिलीजन का हूं इस वजह से मुझे वोट करिए, या मैं आप ही के लेवल का हूं इन द इकोनॉमिक लेवल, सो दैट्स व्हाई यू शुड बी वोटिंग फॉर मी. आई बिलोंग टू यू, यू बिलोंग टू मी काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग statement is given. This is called an emotional argument fallacy. No one is you, or no one will work for you, or no one is belongs to just because no one will be a good candidate just because they belong to your community or religion. Second thing is wrong comparisons when we do. When we say if Ram is doing so well in the studies, I can also do well in the studies. So what exactly I'm doing is I'm trying to have a wrong comparisons between the two events. So what I've actually done is I have used a wrong comparison between two people. These comparisons can be wrong. Ram may be very studious, I may be not. But then also we see these wrong connections or comparisons happening. This fallacy, this error happens very commonly, and we usually say if this can be done, obviously this can be done, but there can be two different events with different limitations, and might be one thing is possible, other thing might not be possible. One more fallacy is a either or fallacy. What does it mean? It's more like if I will be the first in the class or I will fail. So what we are trying to do is we are talking about a reasoning error in which we are only talking about two outcomes and extreme outcomes. Either I am totally positive, 10 positive, or I can be 10 negative. There can be many situations in between happening. It can be 9, it can be 5. There are many events which would be happening in between. So these kind of a fallacy you will also see in critical reasoning where we talk about either or. But there might be many other possibilities which might be happening. Inductive and deductive I've already talked about. I don't think I have to repeat it. Inductive is specific to generalization. Deductive is generalization to specific. We usually do these kinds of errors very easily. Politician fallacy, I call it. This is a more of a personal attack kind of an issue where you see many of the TV debates where one of the political party would be blaming the other political party, and rather than answering that point, the other political party person will talk about something wrongdoing of the first political party, and they will change the argument. So what I'm saying is, if I'm talking to you, I'm saying कि राम आप तो लेट आए क्लास में, and now the reasoning, the Ram says to me, sir आप भी पिछली क्लास में लेट आए थे. So what exactly has happened is, rather than talking about the point or the event which is happening right now, I have started talking about very different event, or I have done a personal attack on the other person to change the subject or change the talk. Now, the next type of fallacy we usually see is a circular reasoning. Circular reasoning वो kind of reasoning होता है जिसमें हम questions को ही दोबारा हम क्वेश्चन को ही दोबारा उसमें एक सर्कुलर वे में हम आंसर देते हैं. I'll say to you, I already give an example which you can understand. Let's say I'm asking my son to go to bed, and let's say he's asked me these. He says, why should I go to bed? And I say, you should go to the bed because it's a bedtime. So I haven't answered it. Actually, I've taken a circular point. Go to bed because it's a bedtime. So I've taken a circular kind of a reasoning where I haven't answered the main point, but this is one of the errors in reasoning. Everyone is able to understand till now? Okay. Okay. Yes. Now, what is the question here? I understand that you are not able to understand the pollution personal attack fallacy. So, what is the question? What part you were not able to understand? Yes. Exactly. That see the same point I'm making actually. I'm saying rather than talking about the reasoning, the main point, they are diverting the whole point. And I'm just giving you an example of what are the fallacies we see in the critical reasoning even, where they may be talking about a conclusion, we are concluding on a point, take very different route, different point, and we are actually diverting the whole thing. That's why these CR, when in the CR you will see all these fallacies happening. When I will be taking you to the questions, you will see all these fallacies happening, and that's why I'm talking about these fallacies. Achha, now, the next fallacy we talk about is the red herring fallacy. Red herring is a kind of a fish, okay? तो यूजली ये रेड हेरिंग इज अ काइंड ऑफ फिश फैलेसी. मेन पॉइंट है इस फैलेसी में क्या होता है, जब हम मेन इश्यू से, लेट्स से वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट एन इश्यू व्हिच इज लेट्स से दिस, एंड आई स्टार्टेड टेकिंग इट टू ए टेंजेंट, तो वी कॉल इट ए रेड हेरिंग फैलेसी. व्हाट दिस फैलेसी एक्चुअली कहाँ से स्टार्ट होता है? यूजली अभी भी रादर पहले भी और अभी भी एक डॉग्स आर यूजली यूज्ड टू एक सेंट्स, हम डॉग्स आर यूजली यूज्ड टू कैच क्रिमिनल्स. हम जब कोई क्रिमिनल के पीछे डॉग्स को सेंट देते हैं और द डॉग्स एक्चुअली रन्स टुवर्ड्स द क्रिमिनल एंड टेकिंग द सेम रूट यूजिंग द सेंट. तो ये होता है कि अगर आप उस सेंट को आप डॉग को कंफ्यूज करना चाहते हैं तो यूजली स्मोक्ड फिशेस यूज होता है. व्हाट पीपल क्रिमिनल्स यूजली डू इट is they will use a smoked fish to create an illusion or create a कि डॉग उन्हें फॉलो ना कर पाए, उनकी सेंट को फॉलो ना कर पाए. तो उसके पाथ को ब्रेक करने के लिए दे विल यूज द रेड हेरिंग fallacy, or they can use a smoked fishes. So red herring fallacy actually originates from that concept or that I would situation in which the criminals try to use smoked fishes to divert the dog out of the scented route or whatever the dog is following the scent of the criminal, and they'll use the smoked fishes to divert it from the main issue. So this red herring fallacy, actually, the word originates from that example. Okay, the next one we are talking about is a false cause. Obviously, we already talked about the cause and the effect, whether two events follow each other, and it might not be the cause. I'll give an example to you. Any n number of examples you can have. Uh, the class started at 6 a.m. This class started at 6 a.m. And I'll say, so it landed 7 a.m. So is it a cause and effect? Is it ending at 7 a.m. just because it started from 6 a.m.? If two events are following each other, it might be the thing that they might not be the cause and the effect. This is a false cause. One event follows the other, so the first event is the cause. We will take this fallacy usually in CR. This fallacy you will see very commonly, in which what we'll see is just we will relate two events because they are following one after another, and we will assume that the first actually caused the second event, which might be वो कोई और reasons की वजह से वो दोनों events हो रहे हो या वो दोनों unrelated हों. Now the next fallacy we talk about is a testimonial fallacy. ये हम सारे दिन टीवी में देखते हैं. इसमें क्या होता है कि the one favorite star, let's say Amitabh Bachchan, comes to you and say, I always use Maaza, or I always, Hrithik Roshan always takes Coke, or someone takes Pepsi, and so you should also be using it. So the reasoning part is because one of your star or one of the influencer is using something, so that's why we should be using it. This kind of a reasoning is called testimonial fallacy. In the last, we talked about the all positive or negative. I think this is much more like the either or fallacy. और मतलब या तो एकदम पॉजिटिव या एकदम नेगेटिव, और बीच में कोई पॉसिबिलिटी को देखना ही नहीं. अच्छा, ओके. The next thing we are talking about is the question type. Any questions till now? अच्छा. You want me to, now the time is over actually for this session. I want to take you to the questions actually. I'll not move to question types. It will need actually 1 hour for me to complete. ये चीजें, it will take a lot of time. So till now everyone is clear about the fallacy part. Any questions till now? इतने सारे बच्चे हैं, क्वेश्चन पूछो. Okay, I'm going to give you the audio and the video rights right now, and I would like everyone to pitch with the questions. Otherwise, I'll start asking questions to each and every one of you. अगर 100 लोगों को भी पूछना पड़ा, I'll ask. So, do you have any questions till now? Is everything clear to you? Okay, now in the next class, what I will doing is the question types I will be talking about. What are the question types we have? We will also be completing the steps, and then I will move into the questions part. Okay, we will start with some easy questions. So just note this question. Everyone take a rather आपको recording मिल ही जाएगा इस class का. But then also if you want, you can take a snapshot. ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन है. मैं इस क्वेश्चन को इसलिए आपको दे रहा हूँ क्योंकि यू विल नॉट नीड मच. दिस इज मोर ऑफ ए लॉजिकल पॉइंट्स हैं इसमें. दिस इज इजी वन, सो दैट्स व्हाई आई एम गिविंग इट टू यू. I'm just reading it for you. In Shimla city, days are marked as having intensive snow, medium snow, low snow. In 1890, there are fewer days with the low snow than in 1810. And a fewer with the medium snow. Yet total snow was a year was 20% higher in 1890 than in 1810. If the statement above are true, then it is possible that which statement is possible? if you in this type of questions, it's a simple logic, okay? So what you are supposed to do here is, what you are supposed to do here is, everyone is able to read it, okay? Everyone is able to see it, okay? वेरी गुड. तो इसमें आपको जस्ट ये होमवर्क के रूप में ले लीजिए. सो व्हाट एग्जैक्टली आई हैव टॉक्ड अबाउट इज, टेक दिस एज एन होमवर्क. लॉजिक है, सिंपल लॉजिक है, सिंपल मैथ्स है, ओके? इसमें एक ही आंसर राइट है. कैन एनीवन पिच इन राइट नाउ? इज एवरीवन एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन? गुड, वेरी गुड. तो आप आंसर कर सकते हैं इसमें. अच्छा, लेट मी पुट ए पोल. मैं पोल डाल रहा हूं. So started a poll. Tell me A, B, C, D, E, which is right? Okay. The 40 people say C. 26 people say D. Most people, I think, 42 people are saying B. Okay, take it. This is an homework for you. ये आंसर ये फर्स्ट है. Only 4 people have answered it correctly out of 116. तो आप में से सिर्फ 4 लोगों ने सही आंसर किया है. टोटल बच्चे 116 हैं क्लास में. All the people have actually marked it wrong. Only 4 people are able to mark it correctly. The answer is A actually. Okay. Should I explain? Everyone wants me to explain. Okay. I'll give you a hint. Okay. मीडियम स्नो में दोनों में लिमिट्स लगा हुआ है. लो स्नोफॉल में भी लिमिट लगा हुआ है. इंटेंसिव में कोई लिमिट नहीं है. सिंपल लॉजिक क्वेश्चन है. एक रैशनल माइंड इसे आराम से ब्रेक कर देगा. लास्ट हिंट आई एम गिविंग. अगर एक ही दिन में 1000 सेंटीमीटर स्नोफॉल हो जाए तो क्या पहली स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट हो जाएगी? ओके, चलिए ठीक है. आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. So only 4 people out of 116 are able to answer it. ये इजी क्वेश्चन है, सिंपल मैथ्स है. ये इस फैलेसी को क्या बोलते हैं? सो 2 होमवर्क आपके हैं. पहला होमवर्क ये है कि आई नीड ए सॉल्यूशन ऑफ इट. इजी है. आई ऑलरेडी आंसर इट एक्चुअली, बट आई वुड लाइक यू टू एक्सप्लेन इट. ओके. सेकंड है, आपको नेक्स्ट क्लास में मुझे बताना है ये कौन सी फैलेसी है. चलो ठीक है. एंड नाउ द टाइम इज ओवर. ओके, चलो. Enjoy yourself, enjoy your day, have a good day and enjoy yourself.